Hi, everyone. This is Tanya Lee of Harmonia, and welcome to the HARMONITE Spotlight for April. Thank you guys for coming on board. If you are here watching live, be sure to comment. Let us know that you're here. And if you are watching the replay, go ahead and hit hashtag replay. Love to see if you guys have watched this. Guys, I am really excited for the Spotlight. This month. I like you all know, for those of you who are new to this channel, just want to remind you this HARMONITE Spotlight is really about shining other light workers out there, what they have to offer, what the whole explanation of things out there about spirituality, but also on self-help and self-development. These things are to empower you, to make you feel informative, take stock of your life. That's what I'm about as a life coach. So that's why I think it's so important to work with other people on board. And all month long, if you are in my Facebook group, for those of you watching on YouTube, there's a Facebook group called Harmonia Friends. Here is where there's going to be more information, more about spirituality, but it's also about, if you're going through the awakening experience and just want to get, more of a tribe that, you feel you vibe with. This is the tribe you want to be with. All right. But also just a reminder too, we have other light workers there and we all kind of work together. So I love to shine the spotlight on one. And today we have someone extremely special, near and dear to me. Tomasa and I met, I think it's almost been 3 years at this point. She's probably going to correct me on that. But we are going to be talking about alignment and the power of alignment, especially when it comes to manifestation. And I was really excited because I always give my guest what they want to talk about. I was like, listen, what do you want to talk about? We got an hour. Let's talk about what you are near and dear to your heart. And when she said the power of alignment and what you can do to manifest, I was like, yes, that's perfect. That's perfect for my crowd, especially for my my tarot subscribers and so forth, wanting to manifest that dream job or manifesting that better relationship or life purpose. This is the kind of content that we want. And so without further ado, I'm going to give you a small introduction of Tomasa here. Tomasa is a veteran to ancient healing modalities with 25 years of experience. She's a blended medicine woman and a shamanic mentor of the Inka tradition who has healed many near and far with individual hands-on sessions, transformational retreat programs, and has a signature video series, and she's an author. Yes, she wears many hats, and I have actually been part of one of her moon ceremonies, and we'll go a little bit more deeper on there. But without further ado, let's bring Tomasa on. So excited. There she is.
Hi.
Hi. So one of the things, Tomasa, why I wanted to bring you on the show, because I always say, what is the light that I see in people, just that I want to introduce them. And one of the things that I love about you is how real and authentic you are about your journey, but how you've gotten there by listening to your intuition, and allowing your body, really feeling your body to know what was right for you. Because, I know that you're a passionate person when it comes to natural things, and you have a lot of experience with that, with food, especially. And I've learned a lot through you, and I've seen you grow through the years, with how much you have gone, and you just keep going. Always like, look at her go.
Well, I don't think growth ever stops. As long as you're in a body, you still have growth to do. You still have work to do. And that's kind of my philosophy.
Right.
I think it's important to have an open heart.
Yeah.
So an open heart helps you to stay open heart, open mind. Actually, that's really funny because it's open mind, open heart, and, come into right action. I'm actually patting below my belly button. And that's something that we talk about in Inka shamanism. It's really about coming into having a clear mind, a clear heart, and so that you come into clear action.
Right.
And so it's hard to get into clear action if your heart isn't clear and your mind isn't clear. So it's something that I live by and I strive to be all the time. And if something feels conflicted or doesn't feel like in harmony, then it's something that I go, oh, okay, I got to go take a time out. It's like putting yourself in a timeout,
Right.
And I need to come back into alignment of what is right relationship with everything.
And that's really amazing that you say that, because I feel not just going back to alignment, but what's alignment to you, because many people don't even know. They don't even know. Like, I guess they're focusing their alignment sometimes from the outside perspective or their environment of what they think is right. So, how does one start? By going in there. Now, my answer is always going within.
Well, my answer is always going within. And
Yeah.
before I've actually talked about this a lot about, shifting your vibration, how important it is. And I talk about inner work a lot with people, and sometimes people don't understand what inner work is. So I want to talk about the number one thing that we need to do is our inner work. And a lot of people think that means, going and meditating. Meditation to me is maintenance, honestly. But inner work is when you get triggered, and not even get triggered, something at the top of your mind. And if you're thinking about it over and over again, or if you're dealing with it over and over again, then it really is time for you to go and look at the root of it. And that is inner work, getting to the root of why something keeps coming up. And let me tell you, it's never what you think it is on the surface.
I can account for that in so many ways, so let those expectations go, because 9 out of 10 times, if something keeps popping up, you're going to keep going back. And, what I find is interesting is, and I'll use myself as an example to some of this, but, when you think you're done something and then the lesson comes back up and you're still triggered, but it's like, I thought I was over this. Like, I thought I was over these family issues. Why is it coming back? But people don't realize how much layers there are to unfolding it, that maybe there's another thing that's being pulled off on there.
Absolutely. So like I said, as long as you're in the body, you have work to do. And, many times things might come up again. You thought you had nipped that particular, maybe like abandonment. And I'll use that as an example. You might have thought that you nipped abandonment into the bud, but it comes back up, but it might come up in a different way, in a different form. And sometimes we have more than one thing tied to it. So, as a shaman of the Inca tradition, that is what I do, is I get to the root of why people are behaving the way they are, why they're reacting. And so, many people stop at the inner child level, but there's so many more levels, layers there. And it could be many parts of the inner child or many parts of the self, but then it could be, a generational piece that might have been handed down to you from a grandmother to a mother to yourself. Or, I'm watching one right now in my family, it seems to be daughters, and daughters with mothers, a lot of my sisters have had sons. I'm the only one who didn't have any sons, but I'm watching that with my own daughter, and my oldest sister's daughter, and my mom and one of my sisters. Just when my daughter said something to me a couple of weeks ago, I went, whoa. And I didn't react to it. It was like, okay, I'm just going to check out, let you go process that.
I'll let you go process that.
And the funny thing about it was I didn't really get triggered. I could have been hurt by the words she said. And and all I said to her was, I'm not the same mom that raised you.
Oh, that's good. So, we're talking a little bit about the power of alignment first before we get into all this manifestation, because it does go hand in hand. Even what she's talking about here, guys, with the shadow work, with being triggered, all of this stuff goes hand in hand. It's about finding the true form of what makes you authentic and what feelings come up, and sticking in that vibration. Now, it's not saying spiritually bypassing and saying, I'm going to be happy 24/7, but I want you to go ahead and I'm going to let you take the floor on some of this stuff, because, this to me is your bread and butter.
It is. And I love it, and I enjoy doing it. And I love seeing people just transform before my very eyes and seeing results.
Right.
So, I'm talking about the first point here is really doing your inner work. So inner work can be anything from inner child to generational pieces to past lives, because you don't know what came from the past life that you brought forth. Your soul knows it, though. Right. The other piece would be spirit attachments. So and people don't realize that sometimes that spirits do attach to us and we have no idea. And we're wondering, we're walking down the street, like, what happened here? Why am I all of a sudden this happened to me? Right. So it can be a spirit attachment. As a matter of fact, I just got a transmission about that, about something, about a health issue someone is experiencing in my life. So I'm like, ooh, that's probably a spirit attachment. It just came all of a sudden. But these things here need to be cleared. And so part of it is doing your shadow work with that to clear those pieces so that you remove those blockages. So, Maya ad is like, we operate at a frequency and we expect a frequency to attract something to us. But if we don't match that frequency of what we want to attract to us, we have to go back and we have to look at, well, what is this about? Why is my life looking like this when, I know I can have this, this, and this. And many people are very familiar with the law of attraction. You're probably familiar with, what is her name? Abraham Hicks. Abraham Hicks.
Yeah.
And so, she makes it so easy saying, it's already there. It's in the vortex, this and that. But it just, sometimes it doesn't seem like it's so easy, right?
Yeah.
We feel like, well, if it's already there, then why don't I have it, right? And so what she's really saying is that there's got to be a vibrational match. And so to be a vibrational match, you really got to clear those shadow pieces and those what I call blocks. Now, I've explained this before, that what blocks are, they look like, I have electrical engineering background, by the way. So so I tend to be a little geeky in explaining this.
That's why I love it. I got the analytical side too.
I want you to think about if you're looking at an oscilloscope, so, there's a special wave that's supposed to have, that's the frequency, right? So sometimes there's this little noise that peaks up in the wave, or it might be separate. And it's like, where did that come from? And that is the very blockage that we're talking about. And that's the thing that sits in the background. And so it might be something that happened in your childhood that you're reacting to. So it's blocking you from being the vibration you need to create what it is that you want in your life. And it's not always just something that happened from childhood. Like I said, it can be a generational piece. It can be spirit attachments. It could be a past life. There's just all kinds of things it could be. So what you have to do is go and do your inner work. Now, here's the thing. We all think we can do our own inner work. And maybe, when you reach that point of awakening, sometimes you can. It takes a lot longer. I'm going to tell you that. It will take a lot longer to do that. Somebody who is trained, who knows how to see the blockages, I don't necessarily tell people what their blocks are. I just take them down the journey and guide them. And as you guide them, they get to see their own blocks and they go, oh, so it's not like I'm not that shaman who goes and reports back, goes on the journey, reports back to him. I'm not shaman's like, let's go and do this guided journey together and see what it brings up for you. And let me tell you, what you think is going to bring up, it doesn't always bring up. It's usually something like, whoa, where did that come from? Yeah. And I always tell people, it's not about what's in the memory here, because you're in your head then. It really has to come from here because it's imprinted on your soul. And so I tell people, don't even try to remember anything. Just really get into your heart here and just open and see what comes up, because the visions will come as you're on your journey, or some people don't even see things. Everybody's different. Some people feel, some people hear, some people smell, some people taste. It's just, whatever sense it shows up.
Different clairs for those of you who are intro to that. It's your clairs.
Exactly.
Different senses. We all have these, guys. We all have these. So these are gifts that are not like upon special people. We all have these gifts. And, whether they're heightened a little bit more differently in each person, because we're all individuals and unique. We're all going to have those different experiences. But I want to go back a little bit on the vibrational match, because when you had said that there's also, the spirits attachments and things like that. And guys, and this is an open-minded show. So, we're not putting specific beliefs, you don't believe in certain things, then just, as I say, even on my Tarot channel, take what resonates, leave the rest. This is to expand your mind. That's what I love about this, right? We're expanding our minds. We're being open to possibilities and what's out there. But you also mentioned going back with vibrational when it doesn't match. Because I feel a lot of times what happens, and I've been touching a lot on this, especially with the energy that's been going out with the planets and everything right now, is that these vibrational matches that aren't matched are really being heightened right now. So people are in major purge mode. But what's happening is people are getting frustrated because they're talking to people and they're saying they don't listen, they don't understand me. It's true. They don't understand you. They're not on your frequency. Right. And this is important with manifesting as well, because if you're not having people in your environment that are in that frequency, or you're not even able to manifest it, then there is something off. There's something off. Can you touch a little bit on that?
Yes. Yes.
I know, right?
I just dealt with that a few nights ago. Here's the thing is, there are people who think they're awake or conscious. It just amazes me how many people say they're conscious. And I say that because, I'm like, wow, because to me, conscious people realize the oneness of all of us. Okay. And so when you operate outside that box of outside of being oneness and looking at separation, duality, and that we're not one, and blame and game, and the karmic triangle. Yeah. Okay, victim, perpetrator, rescuer will be collaborating, or what's the colluding with the victim story. Usually that's what happens. What happens is you are sitting in a vibration that doesn't match other people. And sometimes what happens is, I just had a student come to me just upset because she got laid off, and not really upset, kind of happy she did, but not. And then everybody else comes in and tells her what to do, and she feels awful. And you'll feel awful. You won't feel good about yourself, And so, then she comes and she talks to me, and I just feel and hear the whole thing. And I just listen to her, and I just said, is that what you really want to do? Is that the energy you really want to have right now? Mm. And then after she talked to me for a little bit, and she got calmer. She said, oh, I feel so much calmer. So, the people, and she's done the wheel with me. She's done advanced studies with me. Okay. So what I'm trying to point out to you is, and I said to her, those people you're talking to have not done their work. Mm-hmm. So they want you to be so happy. Instead of, they want you to be on that karmic triangle. They're putting you on the karmic triangle rather than the Dharma triangle. The Dharma triangle is where you get to create what you want in your life. And, when I pointed out to her, being laid off from a job, sometimes it's a gift from spirit. It is a gift from spirit. Spirit's giving you a message. And I didn't tell her what the message was Spirit was giving to her. I just said, you need to go find out what is the message Spirit's given to you. So go spend time by yourself. And actually, that's so funny, because that is my second point here I want to bring up here, is like, you really got to go spend time with yourself. And I'm not even going to say yourself, but with Spirit. And, so that's why I like to go hiking by myself. I don't always like to take people with me, because I don't want to hear them talking. To me, I need to hear God talk to me, or I need to hear Spirit talk to me while I'm hiking. So I go by myself for that reason. And so it's, you need to do an activity that connects you in with Source. And maybe that's meditation. So that's the second point here. So this is about being in maintenance of, after you've done your inner work. So get in maintenance with yourself here. And this is part of self-care. And I call it's a deep part of self-care, like your soul care. Okay. And
I love it.
This
soul
is
care.
You talking to Spirit, or listening to hear what Spirit has to say, and then complying with Spirit. Because there are many times where I used to go and hear things from Spirit, and I was like, later, I'll do that later. And later would never come. So I'm defying Spirit instead, right? And then my life becomes like, well, why is this like this? Because you didn't listen. You didn't act on what I shared with you, right?
Yeah.
So you really have to tune in and comply. Because when you tune in and you comply, then your life comes back in balance. I can't tell you how many times I've heard things, Spirit said, go do this, do that, but I'm too scared. That's not going to work. The people aren't going to like that. And then when I go do what Spirit says, it's like, oh, I begin to watch how everything just came together. And what I mean by everything coming together is like, I'll give an example of myself. I can give an example of a lot of students, but I can give an example of myself as well. So, one day, I remember, my business used to be like this, up and down, roller coaster, up and down, roller coaster, right? And so I was like, oh, that's tough on an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
And so I remember one month, it was December, and so at Christmas month, 2018, and it was my mom's 90th birthday that month. My sisters were expecting me to contribute. I was like, I don't know how that's going to happen. I got to pay my bills, right? How's that going to happen, right?
Yeah,
And so anyway, it was probably one of the worst months I had ever had. It's not the worst, but it was probably one of the worst months I ever had. And I remember vowing to myself when I got out of there, Spirit showed up so many times that I went, if Spirit shows up when I'm down like this, how will Spirit show up when I'm up, right? When I'm complying and I'm doing everything. So I made a vow to myself that I was just going to get myself out of this hole. And me getting myself out of that hole would mean I'm going to get myself back to do my inner work on such a deep, deep level that bam, and then maintain myself. And when I did that, 2019 came around. And I remember going through some things at the beginning of the year, and a friend showed up and said, here, this is a gift for you. I said, what? and I mean, it was just like, I'm giving you, a grand or whatever out of my pocket just for you. And I was like, I was going to borrow it. No, you're not paying it back. It's a gift to you. Okay, fine. So my friend, she did that. I mean, she's a long-term friend. She's been a friend since college. I won't even tell you how old I am today. And so what ended up happening was after that, I went, okay, Spirit, I got it. And then everything just went up, 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 up. And then when I would find those dips about to happen, because what happens, you can feel the dips about to happen in your financial world, right? Possibly. I would go, oh no, we're not going to have that happen. We know. So I would go do my inner work, get a session, clear. And then I would sit there and I do my inner work or do my meditation every day. So my maintenance every day. So I meditate every day, and it's just focusing on something that I want in my life. Maybe it's a visualization or whatever, or it could be me going out in nature. Maybe it's more than that sometimes. And so we got to get really quiet, and this is what I tell my students all the time. You got to slow down to speed things up. And that's my favorite saying these days. You got to slow down.
Most people are programmed to go, 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 and you work hard for your money. You work hard for your dreams. So it's like completely new strategy for them to. What do you mean? I got to slow down. You should, you should take a nap.
Oh yeah, my students had to go through this. I watched one of my students and said, "Tomasa, I have no clients. What am I going to do?" She's kind of a healer / designer. Yeah. And so I just looked at her and said, "You got to slow down and speed things up. So your job is to go and meditate 1 hour a day." Are you crazy? An hour a day? And I went, oh yeah, get your sessions and meditate an hour a day. And let me tell you, when they don't get their sessions, because they have assignments, when they don't get their assignments, I can tell. And so they come to me and you're like, oh, this happened. I go, well, when's the last time you had a session? Well, it's been like, a while. Okay, well, maybe you should consider going to get one. Well, I have one scheduled. Well, why are you waiting so long? That's what I say.
Right.
I don't know about you, but I don't have time to be waiting that long, to be sitting in that kind of vibration that just keeps me discombobulated and not creating what I want in my life, right?
Yeah.
So and so she said, okay, but I want to share this with you because this is really beautiful and it's really fun for me to watch. When I said slow down and speed things up, so they all started slowing down to speed things up, right? And so for her, she came to me. She said, "Well, I got all these clients now. Oh my God, I'm not gonna have a problem paying you after all." and I went. I never thought you would.
Yeah, like you believed in her enough to be like, it's gonna happen.
Exactly. So she started having all these clients, but then what happens is the clients come in. And then they begin to back off the work, right? And I go, well, when's the last time you meditate? When's the last time you meditate or, spend, an hour just doing nothing, just, communing with spirit? Well, it's been a while. What are you doing? You can't stay
Right.
out of the work. You
Right.
have
Right.
to continue to do that. That to me, that is like part of your self-care. It is, something you build in your day every day. An
Yeah,
hour of
absolutely.
meditation, it's a piece of cake because all that other stuff you think you got to do, it happens magically. It's like,
Yeah, it's true. And I always ask when people ask me like, how did you make all these changes? Because when I was early on in my journey, people thought I was on a health journey because I lost all this weight, right? It had nothing to do with that. I knew I had to lose weight, right? But I was so far gone at that point of really caring about myself, my body, that I'm like, I don't really care about that. But I knew something had to be done, right?
mhm,
So meditation was how I got in. But guys, people get so fearful of meditation because they're going, oh my God, I can't just sit there. Meditation is like how Tomasa said, hiking, walking, exercising, listening to music, being with yourself, detaching yourself from the stories. That means you're not answering yourself and going and letting it going and spinning and going, I just spent an hour talking to myself in that level, right? Because you're really
right.
talking to your ego. So if you can detach yourself and then let these things come in and out and just allow some of the messages coming in, even with an intention, I mean, I started off, I didn't do anything. I didn't have a guide or anything. I did like 5 minutes, right? And I just kind of worked on there. I started realizing that even during my work day, because I worked a regular 9 to 5 job, I would be like, people would be like, all right, where's Tanya on her lunch break? I'd be in my car just with my seat back, just with my eyes, and they would see me. They were like, what are you doing? And I'd be like, now I'm like, dude, I need to step out. You guys, nothing's going to change in here. This is my lunch break. You don't have me
Right.
for 30 minutes. This is what I'm going to do. So I used to, people thought I was napping and sometimes I would just do nothing.
Right.
So
Right.
there's
It's
so many
like
different forms of meditation.
tuning in is, I mean, I like to call it tuning into spirit, tuning into your soul. It's
Right.
like your soul and spirit having a nice connection and talk, you know?
Yeah. So
So,
let's talk a little bit more on with affirmations because it's also what you tell yourself and what you're putting out there. What is some advice you give on with the manifesting? How specific do you feel people should get with what they want? Because I feel like a lot of times it gets really general and it's not allowing opportunities for something better to come in. So I would love to get your advice on that.
well, I have a couple of things about affirmations. I don't think you should do affirmations until you've done some clearing. First
Good
of all,
point.
and I
It's
say that
valid.
because I've done affirmations in the past and watched things, and I've watched this. This is like me being my own experimental lab, right? And then I talk to other people and I watch them. Well, I've been saying those affirmations. Well, why aren't they working? Well, there's a block there or something, right? So only do affirmations after you've done your clearing. And by the way, this is one of the things I have. This is my last point I talk about is
Mhm.
use blank to
Mm.
alchemize what you want in your life. So that would be use words. So that would be affirmations, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you
Absolutely.
want to use words. And so words are so important because words carry a vibration. I've actually had friends tell me words are spells, but I like to say words carry a vibration. So the words you use, and this is not just you talking to yourself, this needs to be cleaned up in your everyday language. I have chills as I say that because
It's
it is
awareness.
reaching deep in the core for everyone because you don't just talk to yourself that way. It's like what you breathe, and this is the vibration of what you stand in. So
Mhm.
when you use words, and even if you catch yourself using a word that might not be of the vibration you want to create, you can go back and you can correct it,
Oh, I've
or
done that all the
what some
time.
people say, reframe it.
I've caught myself mid sentence saying something and be like, "Ooh, I didn't. Nope, I gotta. Well, hold on. Let me rephrase that.
So let's
Let
let's
me
use let's
rephrase
use
it."
some examples here.
Yeah.
So I hear people use the word like oh, I'm trying to do
Ugh,
that, or I'm trying. And that's one of my things I tell my students. We don't use the word try here. We're losing that out of our vocabulary right now.
As
So
Yoda said, trying's doing nothing.
exactly. Trying is like you keep trying. I just see this person. I mean, I want you all to think about, it's not even think about, I want you to feel the vibration of trying. What's the image you get when you see someone trying? It's like they're trying to climb up something that keeps sliding down.
Insecurity, it's failure almost because they just can't do it. You get scared, fear.
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah, you're
I
right.
don't ever see anybody reaching their goal when they're trying, right? And I even like to use the word goal. Look at that. That has a vibration to it. You know, and that's why I do despacho ceremonies, because we don't even talk about goals in despacho ceremonies, and we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Mhm.
But we talk about intentions. What is it that you want in your life? What do you see yourself doing? And so part of that is, you know, moving forward and seeing, okay, what is it that I want different in my life? You know, one day I remember, you know, answering something in a Facebook group about, you know, what do you want in your life? I go, I think I'm going to call in a soulmate or, you know, a partner now. And they were like, what? And I was like, what? Did I really say that?
For our audience who is watching this live, I would love for you to just, because she wants to know, you know, what do you want? So go ahead and comment what you want, because this is the time to do it so we can look at it, right?
What is it that you want? Is
Yeah.
important. So another thing that people say, have you gotten anything from it? Yeah. No.
People are, yeah, it's a little bit of a delay. I'll let you know.
Okay. Okay. I don't see. Oh, okay. I didn't
Yeah.
see this whole thing with comments.
Yeah, it's comments. I'll let you know. We got a couple of people on there. They're just saying hello right now. But yeah, if you guys have any questions whatsoever for Tomasa, especially with the experience, absolutely let us know. Karen says peace and confidence. Yeah, we have a little bit of a delay, so just keep in mind. So
Okay. So peace and confidence. Let's talk about that. So, you know, that's okay just to call in peace and confidence. You know, I am peaceful. I'm confident. And then start acting. I don't even like to use that word acting. See, that even carries a vibration. Start being peaceful.
Ooh, I like that.
And what does peace feel like? When I ask you that question. And when you say, what does peace feel like? And then I want you to be that person of peace. I mean, to me, when I say the word peace, I immediately, my whole nervous system just calmed down. And then I just feel like, have you noticed that my voice even changed?
Yeah, your voice changed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You slowed down.
Mm-hmm. So when I say peace, that's peace to me. But it's like I want to go just lay down and meditate now and just be. And that's what peace is to me.
And where did you feel it is another important one, guys. Where you feel these words, where they're coming from. Because to me, the peace feels right here in my chest area. So that's my heart. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And then the other piece with peace is just really, just peace comes from within. So let's be clear about that. It's not outside of you. So it's within yourself. And then, just close your eyes and feel what peace feels like. So this is like bringing in all your senses. I'm very sensory, I bring in all my senses. What does peace feel like? What does it sound like? For me, when I hear sound music, sound baths, that's peaceful to me. I might hear chimes. And right now I'm hearing chimes in my head here. Or I might hear the bass drums beating, and anything that just really calms the heart rate down, right?
So some people would consider this, guys, and it is what it is, because we all have specific energy in us that's masculine and feminine. And when we slow down, the feminine energy is about receiving. So what Tomasa's doing right now is receiving, right? She's receiving that word. And she broke it down for Karen. She's breaking it down to show you this is the vibration you want to be in. You're not just saying a word, you're feeling it. You're asking these questions of where it is, alignment, all of that things. And she has really two strong words here. She goes from peace to confidence.
And confidence is a little bit different. It's a little bold. It's showing up. And that's what I hear. Showing up. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Confidence is showing up And that's like being able to speak and express. And then the word I hear is loving yourself. And when you love yourself, you show up fully because you don't care what anybody else thinks.
Right.
And that's confidence.
So what is the next step when they get into that, when they feel those words, they say, this is what I want, then what's the next step?
Then the next step would be to feel them. What are they about? And then now, if you're going to say peace, then instead of using the word peace, because peace is kind of ambiguous. Have you thought about that? It's kind of an ambiguous word, just as confidence is.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you just feel when I said peace? So one thing you can say, my heart slows down, my resistance slows down, and I feel so comfortable in my skin. I feel very comfortable in my skin. The music I hear is so soft and calm. So I invite you to say an affirmation that actually brings in more of all your senses rather than the ambiguous word.
Oh, I like that. I like being able to put that all in line, because it's better than just saying, let's say you have someone here in your life, I want to have a house and I want to have my dream relationship. Oh, and I want to get a raise, right? Like, those are very different vibrations. So breaking it down in that level, I really like that, because it's not only slowing you down, it's really making you feel like you have it already. Right. And that's really what it is. Manifesting is that you have it already, because you already know what you deserve. It's now trusting what you deserve.
Exactly. It's already there. It's like, what was Abraham who says? It's already there. It's in the vortex. It's a matter of you matching the vibration of it. So, Karen, since you brought up the words of peace, what does peace feel like for you? I gave you some examples. What peace feels like for me might be different than what peace feels like for you.
We'll give her a second to see if she's still on. If she's there's a little bit of a delay, because I'm simultaneously casting to other places other than YouTube. So we'll get back to Karen.
Okay, cool. So, the next step would be to write down. I actually have, there's an exercise I do. I call it a mythical alignment piece when people get sessions with me, and we write down a huge, it used to be one long journey statement, but I started putting into something, a format that I learned a long time ago when I started studying metaphysics, like 30 years ago. Am I aging myself here? And so, we recognize that there is a God or a spirit or whatever you want to call it. And then we state that we're one with spirit. And then we write down, like, when I feel this way, I feel God within me. So,
Right.
or I feel God within me every time my heart beats. I feel God with me every time I take a breath. Maybe something like that. Or, I know that I am one with spirit. I know that I am not just peace, but I am calm. My nerves are calm. My nervous system is calm. I don't feel like I need to do something at all times. Right. I know that I am doing exactly and being exactly where I need to be in this moment right now.
So Karen said, peace for my mental chatter and anxiety it causes.
Karen, are you a Gemini? Geminis have a lot of
air sign. Chatter. Yeah. Sounds like an air sign thing, doesn't it? If she doesn't, she probably has air in her chart.
I'm a Gemini. That's why I say that. So the thing is, if you have a lot of mental, she's Pisces.
Yeah, she's Pisces.
Okay. It could be, that's just your sun. There could be other things going on.
She's got the feels, though. That's good.
but Pisces feel everything. That might be part of what's really going on. They're like, they feel everything. They're like sponges. So, so the mental chatter, what would it feel like if the mental chatter was no longer there? What would that feel like? That would be what to ask yourself. See how we're breaking down what peace, is about? So she wants peace from her mental chatter and anxiety it causes. So I am free from feeling like my heart is racing. Because that's, to me, that's anxiety, you know?
Yeah.
I'm free from feeling like I always have to be doing something or thinking about something or thinking about the next thing to do. That's that I am okay. I'm safe. That I'm safe. I think so overwhelmed.
Yeah, yeah, she's
That's
overwhelmed.
exactly what anxiety is, overwhelmed. And the thoughts in your head keep coming, right?
Things that don't
So
exist yet. So it just, it's all stuff that's coming ahead of you.
a lot of worry, probably worrying about things. We call that pensive thinking about something over and over and over again. I got this Chinese medicine background, so we look at those pieces there. So I'm feeling like, and if I were to look at that in terms of Chinese medicine, what I'm hearing, and I want to say this because I feel like I need to share that with you, Karen, is that it is so key for you to meditate an hour a day. You got to connect with source, because that mental piece there, like a merry-go-round, that mental piece there, that is telling me that it is part of what we call the metal element. Well, the metal element likes to connect in with source. And that is the light side of the metal element, connecting into source, feeling like you're one with spirit. Okay.
So let me tell you what happens for those of you who are new with something like doing an hour that you're like, oh my gosh, there is no way, Tomasa and Tanya, I can do an hour of meditation. Well, you can do an hour of worrying, so you can do an hour of meditation. So here's what happens. When you go to sit down for the first time doing this, right? You're going to fight it. You're going to have everything come in your head, and like you'll start off maybe 5 minutes or, or even 2 minutes, right? And then 2 minutes come and they're going to be like, okay, 2 minutes is up. And your self is going to be like, all right, 2 minutes up. You got stuff to do. You got to do this. And you're like, no, we're not doing that. And it's going to fight it. But there's something that happens. It's a push and pull. And I promise you, if you stick it through, there is a point where it becomes peace. You will hit this point of peace. And I can't, it's unless you experience it and try it for yourself. And I encourage all of you to do that. You won't understand or fathom how much it can reset yourself, but also your day. And all we have is each day, right, to change. So these are
reset your nervous system as well.
Yeah. So these are tips that Tomasa is giving you that are not just, she's telling you to do. The reason she's telling you to do them is because she has experience of how it's worked for her. We are light workers. We're not here to tell you what to do. We just shine the light, and you guys got to do your own work, right? Have your own homework.
So, can I give an example?
Sure, absolutely.
This works. Okay.
Yeah.
So I had another student of mine who came to me, and she had that. I can feel that nervous energy. I can feel it. I just feel it because I'm a clear sentient person, right? I could just, when she talks, I could just feel it, and I'm like, okay. So I get real calm with my students. I get real calm, right? And I'm sort of like, what's going on, And I say, how often do you meditate? Oh, I meditate sometimes. This is their maintenance they need to do because they get to check in with me every month. And so I go, have you ever tried meditating an hour? That's too long. And so I said, oh, okay, well, your assignment is to meditate an hour every day. So she reports back. She did it for about 3 days. And this is what she said to us. She said to the group, because we all came together as a group. We're very close knitted and we're, very intimate with each other. She came back to the group. Tomasa gave me this assignment to meditate for an hour every day. And I did it. I did it for 3 days. And it was wonderful. And I was getting all kinds of answers. And then I thought about, what can I do with that hour?
Oh, that's funny.
And then she said, so I stopped doing it because I could think about all these things I could do with that hour. And I just went to her, well, how are you doing now? Well, I'm not as calm as I was, and I'm not getting the answers. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So,
shut yourself down.
Yeah, she shut her down. And so I that's when I came back to, you got to slow down.
Yeah.
Speed things up.
And don't beat yourself up if you fall off the wagon of anything. I mean, there's times where I don't meditate either, and I sometimes I'll be like, oh my god, because I'm so diligent about doing it, it just becomes part of my nature, right? So I get irritable if I don't do it, right? I get kind of like mopey about it. But I always used to say, I don't have the time. I don't have the time. But my body kept saying it needed it. Like every answer I got, it said how to meditate. So what did I do? I did something I didn't like to do, which was I got up early and I fought it. I'm like, I don't want to get up early, but I diligently did it. The difference between a person who can break through and say, I tried, right, is the person who will persevere and still do the uncomfortable because they already have the answer. You guys already know the answer to your things. This is your higher self talking to you, right? Your higher self already has the answers. That's why I'm so adamant and passionate about inner child work and manifesting and, using these tools that it's hermetic, that's philosophy, because this philosophy is given to all of us. We can't exist without one another, right? It's collective. So for us to be able to define this, and to be able to bring out these tools for you, it's because that, it's going to feel uncomfortable. You're probably going to be like, I don't know if I could do it. So you could start with 2 minutes or 5, but go ahead, Tomasa. You talk.
So one thing I want to share with you all, before I even went to this whole hour of meditation, and I'm talking about the traditional, which everyone's pretty familiar with, like, lay down or sit up and just, meditate. I was introduced to something called active meditation. Ooh. And so, and maybe that might feel better for you to begin with. And so active meditation, I remember doing it for a whole hour. It's about an hour every day for 30 days. And I felt so clear when I did that. I mean, it removed so much gunk for me when I did that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the instructions for you all for active meditation. So Osho, many of you might know who Osho is. Osho is the spiritual guru, came from India. He's no longer alive, but he created something called active meditations. And there's several of them. And there's one of them that I used to do every day for 30 days and just like have amazing results. And so if you find that you can't sit still for, a whole hour, but if you did this active meditation, because it almost feels like a little bit of a workout too, but it's an inner workout because you do different stages. I think there's like 4 or 5 different stages, and there's music that's played. You just download this and you do what they tell you to do. And it's about releasing. It's a great way to release things. It's also a great way to calm yourself down. So you want to feel that calmness, Karen, to calm your nervous system down. And let me tell you, you'll be breathing harder then. And you're like, whoa, I feel so clear now. So I want to share that resource with you all. And it's something I do at my retreats with my students. Because we've been online, I haven't done it, but we'll do it at a retreat,
What do you find is the most common struggle for those who are finding the same patterns over and over again of why they can't manifest?
The biggest thing is we go back to the inner work. When people can't manifest something over and over again, it's really the inner work. It's like you're not getting to the root cause of what's happening. And yes, sometimes what can happen is you move a few steps forward, and then you move a few steps back, or 1 step back, 2 steps forward. That's how it goes. So you might find out, for example, somebody might have like what we call an abandonment issue. And so what might happen, and so those usually come up in relationships, right? So, abandonment usually comes up where, you want to leave the person before they leave you. That's an abandonment issue, okay? Mm-hmm. So abandonment shows up all kinds of ways. Or I'm going to block you, or I'm going to, all this. So what happens is if the issue comes up again, then you have to go look at it on another level. Mm-hmm. And so you just keep doing it until it's not really so much an issue anymore. And so, and then the thing is that when you don't get, you don't have a reaction to it, what ends up happening is you're like, oh, I recognize this abandonment stuff coming up. Interesting. Well, let me go do some work around that. And you can go do a meditation around it. You don't always have to go get a session around it. If you recognize it yourself and you don't react to someone, it's like, oh, well, let me go meditate on this. What do I need to do next to, ask spirit for guidance? Okay. But the reason why things keep showing up over and over in our lives because we have not got to the heart of why that is happening. And so, you do a session around that. You might go back to childhood. Oh my God. I've seen clients go back to things that happened in their childhood they didn't realize. I have a vet who's one of my clients, and oh my God, vets need help. Let me tell you, I didn't realize people say that, but I'm like, whoa, I just felt the whole thing when I started doing a session. I'm like, whoa, okay, I'm glad I'm able to help you. But, they see a lot of things. Like, have you ever been, been told you got to go to a war that you don't want to go to and you're not sure if you're going to come back alive or not? I mean, and the things you see, I have a Vietnam War vet. And then after he comes back alive, right? But he can't tell his parents that he doesn't want to go, right? And you can't tell, you can't, what we call it, defect or whatever, And so they go like a good soldier, they go, but they have to embody all that stuff that they just stuffed. And then all the things they see. And so, he's dealing with a lot of entities he sees. I got this guy who comes and talks to me, ghosts and attachments and things like that. And then what it boiled down to was guilt, a lot of guilt. Like, oh my God, I feel guilty that I didn't want to serve my country. So then that guilt carries over into relationships. Guilt carries over into how he doesn't want, how he maybe didn't show up the right way that made his parents proud of him, right? So guilt shows up many different ways. Oh my God, when I was a kid, I did this. I stole a candy bar. It's like, really? Yeah. Oh, and the store owner caught me. It's just things like that. These are things that you don't even realize that you're carrying forth,
Yeah.
And it's not even so much the action, it's the emotion associated with it. And along with the emotion associated with it is a neural pathway. Is you've been wired to think that this is the way you are and this is the way life is. And so we go back and I don't want to say reprogram, but rewire those neural pathways a different way and recreate the situation differently and give you what you need.
And I love that. And I love the idea too, because it really opens up with manifesting too, because the more you do the inner work, you get to know yourself, right? Because those desires of what you wanted, they might not be aligned to what you really want, right? Because you have other people or expectations, like you had just brought up parents and things like that. Maybe you are manifesting things that aren't really aligned to you, but you don't know that yet because you're still going through that guilt or shame train, right? So you don't think you deserve to have certain things. So it's blocking you, right? So I really love that. I love being able to go to dive deep. And I think it goes hand in hand, not just inner work, but like getting to the root of problems, which brings it back to the inner child again. So it all kind of correlates with one another. So it's a really beautiful thing.
So I want you all to know here that, it's reprogramming those neural pathways and shifting the emotions. So they're no longer there. So, and the emotions show up. That's what gets triggered. The emotions get triggered. So when the emotions no longer get triggered, then the vibration has shifted. And then you're like, wow, that no longer bothers me. And then you start attracting all kinds of things to you in your life that's like, wow, and then let's talk about attracting the same person over and over again, but it's a different name or a different body.
Oh, yeah, let's do that. I know my tarot readers will love this. Let's talk about it.
So let's look at that piece, because you can attract the same person over and over again in your life, but it's just a different body, different name, different person. Well, similar personality, probably. So, and there might be some unresolved issue. Could be an unresolved issue with a parent, could be an unresolved issue from, someone in your life. Could be an unresolved issue from a past life. And maybe this person shows up to complete things with you, to complete the karma, right? So you have to understand those pieces, and those are probably the hardest relationships to get out of, because like, oh, we're on this karma triangle, perpetrate,
They're
victim.
lessons, you know?
They're
Yeah.
lessons. They're big lessons. And so, it's about you becoming conscious. Oh my God, I married my mother again. Oh my Lord. Or, it could be something like that. Oh my God, and so then it's about you leaning in to what part of you is not owning that part that is your mother.
And this
Things
is,
like that.
and this is a good point, because, and that what I love is what you say is owning, because this isn't about blaming. This is about taking ownership of how you feel and what comes up. It's not going, they did this to me. And that is the difference between people getting in alignment, is when they can stop doing the blaming and the projecting. And, that's because, and I know I'm not pointing the finger at people who do that aren't good, right? These are things that were lessons that we have to heal. It takes a process. So I'm very empathetic when I see someone in that mode, because listen, I've been there. I've been the person who played victim. I was probably the #1 Oscar award victim out there.
I've been there too.
Yeah. So we all been there, guys. We've all been like, I can't believe they did this to me and they destroyed me, or, like we take these stories so personally. But when you can look back and then say, well, that person, let's say it was someone who cheated on you. They didn't cheat on you. They cheated for other reasons. It had nothing to do with you. And that's hard for people to understand that concept, right? Because it's something they're going through, right?
And also sometimes there's these contracts that we come into the world with. We decide that we're going to trigger this piece in you, right? So the contract could be, that they came in this world to cheat on you, so that you could finally say, I'm not putting up with that anymore.
Exactly.
I value myself. I am loved, and I won't attract another partner like that again.
It's discernment, it's boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And, these are things that some of us are not comfortable doing. And then there's also the opposite of that, where we put our boundaries up way too high and we don't allow something in. So there's extremes on both ends of the
gates
spectrum.
are up. When the gates are up, the gates are up, and then you can't let anything in, and bam, it's like, and you have to recognize that as well.
Right. So I can't believe how quickly we are needing to hear this perspective at this very moment. Karen, thanks for being on here. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
I can't believe we're blowing through an hour so quickly. So I want to make sure we take the time as to what you offer, your services. And guys, just a reminder, if you are not on the Facebook group Harmonia Friends, go ahead and join there, because she's my spotlight. So she can take the floor all month long for April. But she also has some offers and opportunities that she's going to be bringing up here. And this is for all of my subscribers for whatever platform you're on. So go ahead, Tomasa. Let us know what you have to offer.
So the first thing I have to offer is a despacho ceremony. So you might ask, what is a despacho ceremony? A despacho is a prayer bundle, but the ceremony itself is even more important, because it not only helps you to remember, I was telling Karen about, how does peace feel for you? Well, in the despacho, we kind of go through all that. What do you want to create in your life? Is it peace? Well, what does peace feel like? What does it feel like? What does it sound like? What does it look like? And so we blow into what we call kintus. Kintus are 3 leaves, but they take the prayers, and then later on, I burn the despacho. But it puts you in a vibration of all that you want to create in your life in that moment. And most people leave the despacho. I mean, I've heard words from feeling love to peaceful to calm to powerful to, all kinds of things that people come in and they say at those despachos. So to me, the biggest thing I see with the despachos, it helps to shift your vibration. And I can't tell you how many people come to me after the despacho and tell me things that happened to them, either while they're in the despacho or immediately afterwards. And sometimes, you have to give people some time, and things happen even later, maybe 3 months later. Oh my God, I didn't realize that. I had called this in. This is a surprise. This is a big fluke, like, wow, I never even thought of that. So, it's like the impossible comes in, and things you might not have even imagined come in. I had a truck driver. he moves tractors and trailers. He had gotten laid off before he came to one of my despachos. And then 2 or 3 months later, he finds himself owning and having a truck business. And so then it becomes his business. And so he was earning like almost 3 times the amount he was making before. That's unheard of, those things, right? I had another lady who came who just couldn't get out of bed. And she even told me, she said, Tomasa, I told her I want to interview with her, right? She told me that she wanted, that she was thinking that when she got invited, well, I need to clear first before I do that, right? And then she said, okay, I'll do it, right? So she did it. And she said, well, I got out of bed and my life shifted. I didn't know how we were going to pay our bills, but afterwards, oh my God, money came in from nowhere, and it's not that it came in from nowhere. It's like these seeds get planted. And when you're doing a despacho, it's like planting seeds in your garden and then watch them grow and flourish, and they happen. And I can't tell you how many people, I have a lot of repeat people who come back because they want to stay in the flow of it all.
And I can tell you, I have experienced the despacho ceremony. I went to one online. We're not in the same location. She's on the West Coast. I'm not. But guys, when I did this, because I've been part of moon ceremonies before, anything like that. But I felt called to, and I've never really worked with Tomasa. We've known each other. We've seen each other's work through other people, and we're kind of like colleagues, right? But I was like, yeah, I feel really guided to go to this and see what this is about. And I just wanted to experience something new. And let me tell you, I was blown away with how beautiful and sacred it felt, the experience. And I loved how you pulled in the kind of tribal aspect of it because it's shamanic. And I remember I told you afterwards, after the ceremony was done, I was like, it was so beautiful. I'm like, but I just feel called to like be there next time. And you're like, I'll see you on the wheel. And I was like, what's that about? And I was like, what's that about? Is there something new happening here? But like, it's so amazing, guys, when you follow your heart and desire to do something or experience something new. But the feelings I felt during that were entirely different than a normal ceremony, where usually you put your intention in and you try to make it your own. But this felt very sacred to me. And I really loved, I don't know. It felt very homely doing it with other people as well. The whole experience. I wasn't sure I was going to feel it as much online. I absolutely did. I felt like I had this awesome soul tribe with me online. I didn't even know who was part of it. I didn't know anybody on there. So it was really a really cool experience. So I do highly recommend it.
Yeah, it is quite an experience. And I wasn't sure when I started doing them online how it was going to create, but it has, everybody's like, no, I feel it. I feel it.
Yeah, it's
so
great.
What I'm offering to you all, I'm doing one on Monday, April 12th at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. So I don't know what zone you're in, so just convert that. And I normally charge $50 for those despachos. Well, I do have an early bird special, okay? And it ends tomorrow, Friday at 4:44 p.m. Now, you can still buy a ticket after that, but it goes up $15 more. I think it's $15 more, $65. So what I'm offering the Harmonia group is to a 20% discount.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Code. I don't know that offhand. I think I gave it to you, Tanya.
Yeah, it's a Harmonia special, guys. I'm going to put it on. I'm going to put it down. It's Eventbrite thing. Karen says she's not on Facebook. Don't worry about it, Karen. It's an Eventbrite thing that you can go through. So I will go ahead and post that in the description once we're done the live. So we'll have that information, even if you're not on Facebook. You can still book that.
Yes.
You do it through like an online thing like Zoom or something, correct? I forget.
You'll get a Zoom link. Once you sign up, you get a Zoom link right away, and then you get some reminders. And then lately I've been giving assignments before the ceremony. I want you to sit quiet and call in what it is that you want, hear what it is.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you the time of day to do that. And then I'll post it in the comments for everybody. Voila, it's an amazing, amazing ceremony. So, and I love doing them. And then I usually hold a fire ceremony. Last time you weren't there at the last one. We actually did the fire ceremony online.
Oh, I gotta go. Man, I wish I could go to this next one. If my schedule wasn't there, I would have cleared it.
So I probably need to just, show forth what are the next dates of the new moon ceremonies. I'm going to sit with my schedule with that. But yeah, so
Right.
that's one thing I'm offering. So if you get a 20% off, what is it, like $40 for you instead of
That's a
50?
steal, guys. I mean,
Mhm.
for just the experience alone, I'm telling you, you'll love it.
Yeah. And then, I have a greater program that is called actually Sacred Sovereignty. That's open up for enrollment right now. That's a huge program. I don't say huge. See, you see the words, the vibration. See, I just went, no, you don't want to say it's huge because then people think overwhelm. Oh my God, I can't do that. So I'm backing up here. I'm going to reframe it. I have an amazing transformational program. Can you see the difference that I just said that?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I have an amazing transformational program. It's a 9-month program. Now that is it's a little bit more of an investment in thyself, and it's well worth it. You hear me talk about my students, and my students see so much change with that.
Mm.
And it's called Sacred Sovereignty. Um, I name each medicine wheel differently. So it's a personal development / shamanic mentorship program. So not only do you develop yourself and you remove what we were just talking about, all these blocks,
Mm.
and you begin to vibrate, and you get me to mentor you. We have some hybrid situation going here where you get some one-on-one help from me as well as from the group. And it's an intensive program. It's 9 months. And so if you're interested, that's something you apply for, and I send you the application. So as I was telling Tanya, we listed all my websites. All my websites have been down. They've been down for a couple of years, but it hasn't stopped me from doing business. Actually, my business grew when my websites went down.
I have certain colleagues who don't even have any social media, and it's just the most. I always find it the bizarre thing, but they do great. They're just kind of undercover light workers, and that's how they go about doing stuff. But yeah, guys, I will post the event in the comments here once we are done live. I can't do it while I'm live, but I will go ahead and post that for you, and it will be in the description box. Well, if you want more information, you can obviously reach me, harmoniafriends.com. You can go there too if you want to reach Tomasa, and I can get you guys connected as well if it's you want some more input on there and you can't reach her, or if you're not on Facebook for any reason. Tomasa, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking this time and space on here. It's been an honor.
Thank you. It's been an honor to be here with you and to share all the wisdom that I have experienced, and the experiences. I just think it's great, and I think people need to understand they're not alone because everybody is on this.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, thanks for joining us. And don't forget to, guys, hit the like button to share. Sharing is caring, guys. And don't forget to subscribe. All right, we'll see you next time. Take care.
Thank you.